Now these are, if you can see these flowers, they are called, they are native flowers of that area. It's called palash. And in certain seasons when they, bloom like this, it's like the whole forest is on fire. And it is so beautiful at the foothills of this Belamu Pahad. And you see these, and this is the Belamu Pahad, a symbol of the ancient past, and the forest of intoxicating plush flowers at its feet. Now, this is the founder, and he gave it the name on August 31st, 1963. So in 1962, the place was secured in December, and then in the following year, he named it as Anandanagar. And this time when I was there, I was also very fortunate to be at Anandanagar for 5 months during the lockdown. And I felt, oh, it was like the most blissful period of the life, because, just the nature was so giving there. And it was so beautiful to see that, first we had mangoes, and when mangoes were finished, we got lychees, and then we got oranges, we got jamun, we got one thing after another. So it seemed like, if you take care of the nature, then it takes care of you. And I have already mentioned some of these points, so I'll just move on. And so this is, important to remember that this is located within the land of ancient Rarh, which was part of the original Gondwana land. That's why the soil was almost like, stones, you can just touch them and they turn into dust, because it's very, very ancient. And then I will show you some current infrastructures, and not all of them, but some of them. And there is historical sites, tantra pithas. These are the places where people meditated and attained self-realization. They were called tantra pith. And somehow they are sacred spaces, and they are huge stones. You can sit on top of those stones and meditate, and it's so let me move on, because we will come back to all these points. So the oldest landmass on Earth, born long before the appearance of Himalayas, over 300 million years ago, arid mountainous terrain with snowy crowns, surrounded by ocean and uninhabited by humans, creatures, or even vegetation. There were no plain lands of Bengal or Deccan Peninsula, no North India, nor deserts of Rajasthan and Gujarat, nor the northern parts of Arabian Sea. What existed was its southern part linking Deccan Peninsula within Africa, and Andamans, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Australia. So Anandanagar is linked with the history of Australia, of Indonesia, of Malaysia, of Andamans, of Africa, and in the north of with the Alps. So we have to consider Anandanagar not as a project of Bengal or of India or of this, but it is a project of the humanity. That was my main point. Rarh means the land of laterite soil, red soil, formed by the erosion and creation of sand and silt. Rarh was not only the starting point of human civilization, but it also represented the first ever steps towards cultural progress, which spread its wings throughout the world. So anybody who is interested to know a little bit about this can read this book of Rarh, The Cradle of Civilization, which is written by the master. It's compilation of his discourses. And at one time, the Rarh was covered by dense forests and inhabited by mammoths, 4 times bigger than the elephants, and a variety of other animals, dinosaurs or whatnot. And its villages, you can know from the name of the villages. For example, the village where Anandanagar is founded is called Baglata. Bag means tiger, and Baglata means is the place where the tigers used to live. And in fact, few years ago, about 25 years ago, one leopard, came to Central Anandanagar, to our sanctuary, and then it was he had eaten one cow before that, some animal, and so it was not very hungry. And then finally it was collected and now brought to the Calcutta Zoo. There was a whole team which came from Kolkata Zoo and then brought that animal to that zoo. So sometimes the elephants also come. They came to my Gurukul place one day, and the next to Gurukul Chakradhuri, there is one unit called Ajitanandihi, and they broke the wall of the Ajitanandihi, So when the vegetation improves in the area, you find it also attracts all kinds of animals back. So we have to really make provision for the security of all the places. Then there is Deem Diha, a place, Deem means eggs. And these were the place where the Siberian birds used to lay eggs. And that's why people called it Deem Diha, means like a hill, where there are a lot of these eggs of Siberian birds. So there is limestone, there's marble stones, black stone, tingtung stone, beret, mica, china clay, and quartz, beryl, pyrite, kyanite, many different types in the villages I have mentioned where they have. And all around the Belamu mountain where we have our units is a minerals, a lot of minerals are there. Anandanagar is situated between the three river valleys, Damodar Valley, Kansavati Valley, and Subarnarekha Valley. These are three big. But in spite of everything, the lifestyle of the people has remained unchanged for centuries. They just grow some paddy, and you see how they carry everything. And still, you can see these scenes are still very common in that area. And now, of course, it's going to change. Due to the inaccessibility of the villages, the project area at the time of its inception in 1962 was largely out of touch with the modern civilization, as well as removed from the local people. At that time, there was no schools, no electricity, nor any services in the area of 250 square kilometers. So you can imagine that in 1962, when the founder expressed the desire to create a township, he chose the place where there was nothing. There were no roads, even no sense of direction. The only landmark was a railway line which went through nearby that area, and that was the only landmark. Otherwise, you would be lost. If you walk from one side, you might not know where you will end up. And there were no, at that time, the technological devices which we have today. So it was really very beautiful. So this, you can see the milestones. 1962 was the founding of Anandanagar. In 1969, the charitable dispensary was started. In 1980, the Women's Welfare Section Center was opened in the memory of one German Didi who did self-immolation in Germany, in Berlin. And in her memory, this Women's Center was started. In 1982, the Music and Art Academy was started. 1987, comprehensive Anandanagar development scheme was given. And that's just amazing. That and when that was finished in 1990, the founder, he just left his body. He said, now I have given you everything what is needed. Now you do your duty. I have done my duty by giving you all the guidelines, and now you have to do your duty. So the work of the parents should be done by the children. The work of the master should be done by their disciples. So it is the common responsibility of me and you and all of us, that those who understand the gravity of the situation of the world, that that this project is not only just for himself he gave it because he wanted to create a model for the whole world to see that how it is possible to have a life of happiness and joy and harmony, and live and let others live. And service to others is a way of life. Not only that few people, they go and do service and other people enjoy. No, service has to be an integral part of our living. Means each one of us have to live for self-realization and service to others. This place I already mentioned, that that even now the villagers do come sometimes, and they are looking for small wood pieces. And if you see any green area in the entire 250 square kilometers, you will know that it is Anandamarga project, because that is where they have planted. We have planted more than 1 million trees in the last 20-30 years, and more are being done every day. So, and this Anandanagar area we call diocese is comprised of 85 inhabited villages. In those tribal and non-tribal villages which are interspersed throughout Anandanagar, the local people, of course, they still live like before. For the first time, they are getting exposed to the benefits of modern science and technology and certain progressive ideas. And now let us look at some of the present infrastructures. In these 85 villages, these are the names of the different villages, which is not important. I think they are blocks, two blocks, Kotshila and Jaipur blocks.